I still remember the heat. Thick, unmoving, suffocating, the moment I opened that guest room door. And my daughter's small body curled by the window, her cheeks flushed crimson, her breathing shallow. The thermometer on the wall read 95 degrees Fahrenheit. And the AC? Dead. Not broken, disconnected. My mother-in-law's voice still echoed in my mind from that morning. Such a waste of power. She'll be fine. She wasn't fine. She was minutes from heat stroke. And the truth is, when the ambulance pulled up and my mother-in-law screamed at the sight of the gurney, I felt nothing. Not fear, not shock, just a cold, steady calculation. She had chosen this war. I only finished it. It's almost laughable thinking of her smile the first time she held my newborn. She'd cupped my daughter's face with trembling hands and whispered blessings over her soft hair. She pretended to love us then, pretended to adore being a grandmother, pretended to respect me. That was before the mask slipped, before the comments, before the judgments, before the slow, sharp poison of her presence revealed itself. She spoils too easily. She cries too much. You're turning her soft. Every visit was a critique disguised as concern. And my husband, her golden son, never saw it. Or maybe he refused to. Either way, every time she stepped into our home, I felt the air shift. But that day, the shift became a storm. I noticed the first sign when I opened the AC panel. The wires weren't loose. They were clipped clean. Someone had taken cutters to them. I found my daughter's tiny sandals placed neatly by the bed. She had tried to cool herself, sitting on the floor, near the window, anywhere the heat felt less murderous. The guilt tried to crush me. But beneath that guilt, something darker bloomed. Because the security camera in the hallway told me exactly who had shut the door behind her. And exactly who said, "She can nap without power. Don't spoil her." My mother-in-law, my daughter's supposed protector, locking her in a heat trap. My hands shook, but not from weakness, from the clarity of knowing what had to come next. Pain had done its job. It had sharpened me. Most people lash out when hurt. I don't. I plan. Silently, precisely, with the patience of someone who understands the value of timing. First, I pulled every camera feed, saved every frame. Then I backed them up in 3 places: cloud, drive, and a sealed envelope. Next, I called the lawyer I trusted more than my own shadow. Assume worst case, I told him. He did. He drew up emergency custody protections, medical documentation pathways, and a chain of evidence report. Every angle covered, every escape route closed. Then I played nice. I visited my mother-in-law. I thanked her for helping. I let her believe I still valued her. Because people like her collapse only when the ground vanishes under their feet. I was building that void inch by inch. All she had to do was step into it. The first strike was subtle. Doctors filed reports. Social workers asked questions. Investigators reviewed the footage I presented. Not emotion, not accusations, just facts. Cold as the air she denied my daughter. The second strike was financial. My husband received a call from our bank. "Sir, we need to verify multiple withdrawals made by your mother." She had been slowly siphoning money. Small amounts, but consistent, using his trust as her shield. Now the evidence was undeniable. His face when he realized. That was the beginning of his own unraveling. The third strike hit hardest. A detective arrived at her door with a warrant. Not for arrest, yet, but for questioning regarding child endangerment. She glanced at me across the room, her eyes full of panic, her lips trembling around excuses she couldn't shape. I didn't flinch, I didn't speak. Revenge, I've learned, is most powerful in silence. The final blow landed in the living room of her own house, with her son, 2 officers, a social worker, and her trembling pride squeezed between us. She pointed at me, wild-eyed. "This is her doing! She's turning you against me!" "No," my husband whispered. "You did that yourself." The officers played the hallway footage. The sound of her voice filled the room. Such a waste of power. Then the click of the door. Then nothing but silence while my daughter struggled alone on the other side. My mother-in-law collapsed into a chair, hands over her mouth, whispering a single line over and over. How could this possibly happen? Her scream earlier outside the ambulance echoed in my memory. Now she knew. She wasn't the victim. She was the culprit. And everyone saw it. Her reputation, gone. Her influence, gone. Her future access to my child, gone. All taken without a single moment of rage. Just truth. And truth is fatal to people who survive on lies. My daughter recovered. Her small hand grips mine tighter now, as if she knows I will never let danger touch her again. My husband sees clearly. His loyalty is no longer split between blood and reality. And my mother-in-law? She sits alone, her phone silent, her circle shrinking, her name whispered with caution. People ask me if I regret it. I don't. I didn't create her downfall. I simply removed the shadows she hid in. What happened to her wasn't betrayal. It was justice. And justice, when delivered quietly, hits the hardest.